Well, I was gonna change the brakes, put all new hardware in, get a self-adjuster put in, and then I tried to turn it. You hear that? Oh yeah! And it's leaking pretty good. So I'm gonna wind up pulling the axle out. Probably gonna replace the bearing, and then I'm gonna have to pull out that third member out of the rear end, see if that's good. But yeah, this is kind of no bueno. I'm going to start by taking apart the brakes. That line's getting replaced anyway, don't matter. Okay, it's a 1/2 inch for the wheel cylinder. Well, it's definitely not a half. I got a 14 millimeter on there. Comes the wheel cylinder. So I've seen people do this where they take the drum, they put it on, put their lug nuts back on, and they can just knock it out. Other people have to go to a slide hammer. There goes. Woo! She be out. 5-pound slide hammer from Harbor Freight, man. Like Dinky.
Using 5 horsepower, dude.
I love it.
I get new bearing. Get it right.
Listen closely. It's not supposed to sound like that, bro. Yeah, I need new bearings then. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. The plug is a 7/8 wrench. Oh, yummy. Oh, real chocolate syrup, bro. It sure don't smell like chocolate syrup. Interesting how there's like a black, greenish black color separating somehow. Oh, yeah. Nice and yummy. I can feel grit. Some sort of grit in it. Dirt, sand. Could be metal shavings. I'm not sure. Really thick. Yum, yum, yum. Glad I opened that up. All right, so I'm going to check these gears. Make sure everything looks good. It doesn't look like there's any chipping. There's some rust. Some surface rust. I do hear a little bit of something. Coming up front, there's a little bit of a noise. Sounds like it could be something to do with the yoke. Everything feels pretty good. Doesn't seem like there's play in the yoke pinion bearing. I think I'll just clean it up and throw it back together. This all turns pretty good. It actually spins a little better now. Let that sit for a minute. Now it won't move. I don't know if you can see that. It's starting to move. Got a gap. Okay, I'm hitting the shaft itself. There we are. Okay, I'm going to install my bearing puller, bearing separator. See if I can get it around these. And see if I can get it in my shop press. I made a slight modification. To get my bearing separator in here, I got to do something with these studs. They should pop out from what I can see online. 3/4 inch socket on this one. Yeah, there we go. So I took the normal beam, set it on the feet. I had these scrap I-beams laying around. I laid across that way, and then I got these torsion bars that I got cut off from Explorer going that way. So the bearing separator will sit on the torsion bars. And it should work out so that the piston will come down on that axle and separate that bearing. Okay, there's not enough room between that plate and the separator to get torsion bars. So maybe I can get on these I-beams. Here she blows. Yeah, that's not cool. You can use a shop press to get those out, but this is a lot faster. Something to take note of on these axle shafts is they're not the same length. The driver's side is the shorter one, which is the first one I took out. The longer one is the passenger side. This one's marked with a yellow stripe. Changing plans. I didn't want to drop this whole axle out because that sounds like a real hassle. So I just used some brake clean, some shop rags, and got it cleaned up pretty good in there. Wiped it down. I took a shop vac tube, wrapped the shop towels around it, and ran it through the tubes and cleaned them out. Then sprayed them down afterwards to get anything that was left behind. So I think I'm going to call that good. I need to scrape the old gasket off, this flange here. I've got to paint this yet, but first I'm going to mock up my brakes with the adjuster kit, because with that kit I do have to cut this same hole here on this side. I'll have to do that on both sides of the car. So I want to do that before I go painting this up. On the flange plate here, one of the original bolts kind of carved this out when it stripped out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of weld in here to build this back out, so that the new bolts don't just spin in that carved out space there. I'm installing the new lug studs. I'm using this lug stud installer. You just take the lug nut, and this is kind of a cone shape, and you take the lug nut, put in there, and it'll pull the stud through. Yeah, it's all on how you set it up. Make sure that goes in square from the start. It's already going much easier. Need a short wall. that's the way to go. Well, that's not cool. Strip the nut out. Ruin the stud. Yeah, make sure they go in square, or this will happen. Okay, I'm getting ready to install the new bearing. The seal side goes towards the outside. I've seen this done a few different ways. I've seen people take the old bearing retainer to press this on, pull that off, then they put on the new retainer. I've seen people do it all in one shot with the new retainer, both at the same time. I've seen where people apply a little bit of grease to the shaft before putting the new bearing on. I've seen people do it dry, so I don't really know what's technically right or wrong. I think I'm gonna try it in one shot. New retainer and all. Okay, I did add just a little bit of oil to the axle shaft where the bearing's gonna sit. I'm going to put this on retainer and bearing in one shot. I want to make sure everything is lined up and centered and not cockeyed. I forgot one step. This guy. Yeah, make sure you get this on before pressing this together. My 2x4 is cracking. Okay, I got my gasket on for the third member. Using a Fel-Pro. There's the part number. I got both bearings installed. I will be installing these on the axle next. So I ordered these Fel-Pro gaskets, and the Fel-Pro made in USA. I do have new bolts and nuts for these. Here they are. These are an original style with the square head and the serrated shank. I'm also going to put a little bit of oil on the bearing itself, and especially the rubber O-ring, just to help it to slide in without tearing. Looks like that's as far as it'll go. These are a 9/16 nut. I'm going to install them in a cross pattern. There we go. Got the nuts on. You hear that? Nothing. Now all I got to do is get this painted, paint this, and I'm going to paint these nuts. And then I'll be able to put the brakes together. But that's another video. Thanks for watching.